It was a gray day in New York. The rain was falling heavily, forming puddles on the sidewalks, forcing people to hurry and seek shelter under their umbrellas. I was sitting in a café, looking out the window at the street, lost in thought. The steam from my coffee slowly rose and disappeared into the air, as did the dreams I used to have of a more vibrant life. At 35, I felt that monotony had set in. My job as an advertising executive brought me little or no pleasure, and the feeling of being trapped in an endless cycle became increasingly oppressive. "Lucas, are you just going to stand there and watch the rain?" The voice of Clara, my longtime friend, interrupted my thoughts. She sat down across from me, pulling the soaked hood off her coat. "You look like a zombie. What's wrong?" "Oh, Clara, I'm just thinking about life," I said, forcing a smile that didn't reach my eyes. "I think I'm having an identity crisis. Everything seems so purposeless." She arched an eyebrow, gauging the level of my dissatisfaction. "You need to move on, do something different. Remember those talent shows we used to watch when we were kids? Talent competitions?" He laughed dismissively. "That's just teenage stuff, Clara." Despite the joking, deep down an idea began to sprout as we continued to talk. My thoughts wandered to possibilities I had never considered. Could I try something new? I finished my coffee and, as I stood up, noticed a crumpled note on a nearby table. Curious, I walked over and picked it up. As soon as I opened it, I felt a pang of excitement. The note announced an old talent competition that would be taking place in the city soon. The thought of entering made my heart race. I had never thought about performing in public, but there was something inside me that yearned to let it out, as if I were trapped in a box that needed to be opened. "Clara, look at this," I exclaimed, showing her the ticket. "A talent show. What do you think? Why not? It'll be fun. You always said you wanted to sing, remember?" She smiled excitedly. "You just have to believe in yourself, Lucas. Believe me, you can do it." Clara's words echoed in my mind. The idea of reinventing myself, of rediscovering a part of myself that had been buried, began to make sense. The insecurity was still there, but the curiosity and desire for change were beginning to overshadow the fear. I had to try. I had to sign up. Maybe this was the chance I had been waiting for to find myself again. The music echoed in my head, but the reality of my abilities hit me hard. I was at home, in a silence interrupted only by the sound of my hesitant voice and the dissonant notes of the guitar I barely knew how to play. The sun was hidden behind gray clouds, perfectly reflecting my state of mind. Why did I decide to do this? I thought, looking in the mirror for some spark of confidence. I picked up my phone and hesitantly started watching videos of artists who inspired me. Each video brought a bittersweet sense of wonder and frustration. How do they do it? What am I doing wrong? I muttered. Then I saw a video of a street singer talking about his journey. His words hit home. Passion is more important than perfection. It gave me a temporary boost, but soon doubt crept back in. I thought back to my childhood, to the days when I would sing to my grandmother, who would always say, "You have a gift, Lucas. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise." I felt a wave of nostalgia and realized that I had been disconnected from my family for a long time, especially my sister, Sarah. Maybe it was time to seek support, even if it meant reopening doors that I had closed years ago. I picked up the phone and, after a moment of hesitation, dialed Sarah's number. The ringing sounded like an echo in the midst of my nervousness. "Hi, Lucas. Long time no see," she said with that infectious joy. "Hi, Sarah. I was thinking, how about we meet at the park this weekend?" "I'd like to talk about a few things," I said, trying to hide the anxiety in my voice. "Of course. I'm curious to know what's going on." "You seem different," she replied, with a tone of slight concern. "I'm just looking for some changes in my life," I confessed, feeling a weight lift off my shoulders. We'll meet on Saturday then. Let's catch up, Sarah said, and her words brought me some relief. I hung up the phone and, for the first time in weeks, I felt a small spark of hope spark inside me. The park would be the perfect place to relive some memories and share my dreams. With my heart a little lighter, I picked up the guitar again. The notes sounded a little better, and the memory of my grandmother seemed to guide me. I needed to find my voice again, not just for the competition, but for myself. Remember that picnic here? You brought Grandma's old guitar, Sarah began, looking out into the distance as if reliving the moment. I smiled, the memories coming back quickly. Of course. And you tried to play yesterday several times without hitting a single note, he laughs, remembering the scene. It was fun, she replied, laughing too. But then her expression became more serious. Time flies, doesn't it? And now we're here, dealing with our frustrations. Yes, time flies. And I'm thinking about doing something about it, he said, finally confessing. I'm signing up for a talent show. I want to get back into music. That's not crazy. That's brave, Sarah exclaimed, smiling. You've always had a gift for music. Remember how Grandma loved to hear you sing? Yes, but it's been so long. Sometimes I feel like I've lost it, I murmured thoughtfully. Lucas, you never lose who you really are. Music can be the way back, Sarah said, her tone encouraging. Her words hit me in an unexpected way, bringing a new sense of determination. What if I composed something new? Something that spoke about us, about our history? I suggested, feeling an idea emerge. That would be amazing. You've always had a talent for telling stories through music, she said excitedly. Cut here, 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 cut here. The conversation with Sarah rekindled something inside me. I realized that music wasn't just an escape. It was my way to reconnect with my essence and those I loved. I knew the path would be full of challenges, but for the first time in a long time, I felt like I was on the right path. The hours before the competition seemed to drag on. I felt a weight on my chest, but the real challenge wasn't just getting on stage, it was Mark's presence. Always the best of the bunch, the most talented one everyone admired. He was there, a shadow of the past, and my insecurities began to grow like weeds. I sat on the living room couch, guitar in my lap, fingers hesitantly on the strings. "Are you still thinking about Mark?" asked Raphael, my longtime friend, who had been watching my uneasiness. He was an experienced musician, and his confidence on stage was something I envied. How could I not? He's always had everything. "I'm just trying to find my place," I replied, my voice breaking. "Forget about him, Lucas. This is your competition. Remember what you said about music being your passion. Use it to your advantage." He smiled, trying to encourage me. His words served as a beacon in the midst of the storm. If Mark was a rival, I needed to use him as motivation, not as an anchor. I decided to go to a small local concert that night, an event where musicians were performing in a coffee shop. The place was packed. The energy was contagious. The tension began to ease as the melodies filled the air. The first artist took the stage and played a song I already knew, but hearing it live, I felt something different, stronger. After a few performances, my heart started racing again. The thought of going on stage terrified and excited me at the same time. Then, after the show, one of the musicians approached me. "Do you play? Have you ever thought about performing here?" he asked, smiling. "Actually, yes, but I'm nervous," I confessed, trying to hide my anxiety. Everyone gets nervous. The magic happens when you give yourself completely. "Go for it, it's your song," he said, and his words echoed inside me. I had to do this. The music was mine, and I was determined to show the world, and myself, what I was capable of. The night of the competition finally arrived, and the room was buzzing with energy. The auditorium was packed, and I could feel the anticipation building in my chest. I glanced at Sarah in the crowd. She was waving at me, her smile supportive. "You're going to rock, Lucas. Just be you," she shouted, her words comforting. While I waited for my turn, I watched Mark perform. He took the stage with the confidence of someone who had already won. His voice was technically flawless, but there was something about his performance that bothered me. It lacked connection. The audience gave him a standing ovation, but I wondered if they really felt the music or just admired the technique. When my name was called, a chill ran down my spine. I took a deep breath, remembering Sarah's words, and walked to the center of the stage. The lights blinded me for a moment, but as I looked out into the audience, I saw familiar faces. My sister, with tears in her eyes, and a few people from the coffee shop I frequented. I grabbed the microphone, and as I played the first few chords of my song, the world seemed to disappear. "This is for everyone who has ever felt lost," I declared, and as I did so, I realized I was also singing to myself. I stepped off the stage with my heart pounding. Sarah ran to hug me. "You were amazing, Lucas. You found your voice," she exclaimed. And in that moment, I knew that the real victory was not the result of the competition, but the fact that I had rediscovered the passion within me. The joy of the presentation was interrupted by unexpected news. One of the competition organizers called me for a chat. "Lucas, you and Mark are tied in the popular vote, but there have been rumors about plagiarism." "What do you mean?" I asked, my voice shaking. "Mark, he's trying to take you down," the organizer explained. "He wants to win at any cost." I went to the dressing room, where I found Sarah. I told her everything, and she immediately frowned in irritation. "This is ridiculous. I'm going to talk to the judges," she declared, determined. Time seemed to drag as we waited for the final result. When Sarah returned, she was smiling. "I explained everything. They believed you. Mark will face the consequences." Finally, the presenter took the stage and, after a tense pause, announced, "And the winner of the competition is Lucas." I let out a cry of surprise. Sarah jumped for joy, and the audience applauded warmly. The real victory, however, was knowing that I had found my purpose. The prize was mine, but the path I had taken to get there was what really mattered. Cut here. 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 Cut here.